Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and comment your thoughts below. Your support helps us create more inspiring stories. The Unseen Bond, a second chance at family. The city of San Paloma, California, never truly slept, but for Lena Miller, 5 o'clock a.m. was a sacred hour of quiet. Her tiny apartment, barely large enough for a single bed and a folding table, was already filling with the pre-dawn warmth, yet she remained oblivious. She had to be at Mrs. Henderson's by 6 a.m. to help her bathe before the nurse arrived. Lena dressed in the same white blouse and blue skirt she washed every night, pulling her hair back into a simple ponytail in the cracked bathroom mirror. Her hands, perpetually busy caring for others, trembled slightly as she recalled yesterday's letter. The lawyer's words confirmed it. The case was officially closed. The accusations were false, it stated. But who would believe her now? Who would hire someone who had been publicly accused of child negligence? She walked 15 minutes to Mrs. Henderson's house, nodding to the vendors already setting up their stalls. "She's a good girl," the neighborhood whispered. "Hard-working, quiet, respectful. If only they knew what had happened in her hometown, Oak Haven, Oregon." Meanwhile, in Evergreen Hills, a sprawling suburb of Los Angeles, Ethan Thorne awoke in a bedroom the size of Lena's entire apartment. His 2-story mansion boasted 7 bedrooms, but he always slept in the same king-sized bed he'd shared with his late wife, Eleanor, for 2 years before cancer claimed her. The Italian sheets were perfectly ironed by Maria, the housekeeper, who arrived promptly at 7 o'clock a.m. Ethan showered in the marble bathroom, chose one of his tailored gray suits from the closet that resembled a high-end boutique, and descended to the dining room, where breakfast awaited him. Freshly squeezed orange juice, scrambled eggs, perfectly triangular toast. He ate in silence, scrolling through emails on his phone. The construction company he'd inherited from his father demanded constant decisions, multi-million-dollar contracts, and meetings that shaped the future of hundreds of employees. Maria entered with soft steps. "Mr. Thorne, little Lily's school director called again." He sighed without looking up from his phone. "What now?" "She says Lily fell asleep in class, and when they woke her, she started crying. She wants to speak with you personally." Ethan glanced at the gold watch on his wrist. 7:30 a.m. Lily should be eating breakfast, but she was likely still in her room. Since Eleanor's death, the 6-year-old had become more and more withdrawn. At night, he'd hear her talking to herself, as if conversing with someone invisible. "Tell Maria to take Lily to school. I can't be late for the meeting." "Sir, I'm sorry, but the director was very clear. She says they need to speak with you today, or they'll have to take measures." The words annoyed him. Measures? What kind of measures could a private school, which he himself helped fund with annual donations, possibly take? Lily was a smart kid. She was just going through a tough time. Like him. Like the entire house since Eleanor left. He tucked his phone into his jacket pocket and ascended the marble staircase to his daughter's room. The door was closed. He knocked twice. "Lily, time to get ready for school." "Lily." "I don't want to go, Dad." Her voice sounded tiny, lost amidst the pillows. Ethan placed his hand on the doorknob, but didn't turn it. He didn't know what to say. He didn't know how to approach this child who, with each passing day, resembled Eleanor more in her gestures and her sadness. Every time he looked at her, his chest tightened with a mix of love and pain he couldn't manage. "I'll see you tonight, okay? Maria will take you." There was no response. 2 hours later, at St. Patrick's Academy, Director Eleanor Davies awaited Ethan in her office. She was a 50-year-old woman who had seen 3 generations of wealthy Los Angeles families pass through her classrooms. She knew the warning signs well. "Mr. Thorne, thank you for coming. I know you're a very busy man." Ethan sat in the chair opposite the polished wooden desk. Through the window, he could see the playground where children were playing during recess. Lily should be out there, running with her friends, laughing as she used to. "Tell me what's going on with Lily." "Your daughter is suffering, Mr. Thorne. She's a very intelligent child, but in recent weeks she's stopped participating in class. She falls asleep, cries for no apparent reason. Children her age need emotional stability, and she has stability. She has her house, her room, everything she needs. I'm not referring to material stability, Mr. Thorne. Lily needs presence, constant affection, someone who is there when she gets home from school and asks her how her day was." Ethan felt a lump in his throat. He knew the director was right, but he didn't know how to be what Lily needed when he himself was drowning in his own grief. "What do you suggest?" "I recommend you hire someone specialized in childcare, not a housekeeper, but someone who can give Lily the emotional attention she requires. I have some references for highly qualified nannies." Eleanor handed him a sheet with names and phone numbers. Ethan took it and folded it without looking. "I'll consider it. Mr. Thorne, with all due respect, this cannot wait any longer. If we don't see changes soon, we'll have to recommend you seek psychological help for your daughter." The words sounded like a threat. Ethan stood up, adjusting his jacket. "My daughter is fine. She just needs time." But as he walked towards the exit, he knew he was lying. Lily wasn't fine. Neither was he. And time, far from healing wounds, seemed to make them deeper. That afternoon, for the first time in months, he arrived home early. He found Lily sitting on the stairs, still in her school uniform, hugging a worn stuffed animal that had belonged to Eleanor. They looked at each other in silence. Two people who loved each other but didn't know how to show it. Two broken hearts, living in the same cold, elegant house, surrounded by everything money could buy, except the one thing they truly needed: how to heal together. The Helping Hands agency, run by Ms. Patricia, had offices in downtown Los Angeles, in a 3-story building that smelled of pine cleaner and stale coffee. Ethan arrived on a Tuesday morning with the list of references the school director had given him, but Ms. Patricia had other ideas. "Look, Mr. Thorne, the young women on my list are excellent for cleaning and cooking, but you need something different. You need someone who understands children. Do you have any recommendations?" "I have a young lady who arrived a week ago from Oak Haven, Oregon. She used to care for the elderly, but she has experience with children too. She's very quiet, very responsible, and it's clear she needs the job." Patricia pulled a thin folder from her desk and showed him a small photograph. It was Lena, her hair pulled back, with a shy smile. "Her name is Lena Miller, 22 years old, high school graduate. References from her previous jobs are excellent." Ethan looked at the photo. The young woman had sweet eyes and a serene expression that vaguely reminded him of the nurses who had cared for Eleanor during her final months. "Why did she come from Oak Haven?" "Family problems," she told me. "You know how these things are in small towns. The young woman wants a fresh start here." "When can she start?" "Whenever you like, sir. She's living in a boarding house near the bus station, waiting for work." 2 days later, Lena arrived at the Thorne mansion with a brown canvas backpack and a plastic bag containing her few belongings. Maria greeted her at the service door and led her to the room available for her on the ground floor, near the kitchen. "Mr. Thorne is in a meeting, but Lily will be home from school in an hour," Maria explained, showing her the small but clean room with a single bed, a wardrobe, and a window overlooking the backyard garden. "Lily is very polite, but she's been a bit sad since Mrs. Eleanor passed away." Lena nodded in silence, placing her clothes in the wardrobe. She only had 4 blouses, 2 skirts, a sweater, and a black dress she had worn to her brother's funeral. "What does Lily like to do?" "She used to like to draw and play in the garden, but lately she spends all her time in her room. Mr. Thorne works a lot, so he hardly sees her until evening." When Lily arrived home from school, she found Lena sitting in the living room, waiting for her, hands folded in her lap. The little girl stopped at the doorway, surprised. "Who are you?" "I'm Lena. I'm here to take care of you while your dad works." Lily looked her up and down, as if evaluating her. She was a pretty child, with her mother's curly brown hair and her father's dark eyes. But there was something sad in her expression, as if she carried a weight too heavy for her 6 years. "Are you going to sleep here?" "If you want me to, yes. Maria doesn't stay. She leaves at night and I'm all alone until my dad gets home." Lena felt a pang in her chest. In Oak Haven, she had cared for her younger brother when her mother worked nights at the hospital. She knew what it felt like to be alone in a big house when darkness fell. "What do you do when you're alone?" "Sometimes I watch TV, or play with my dolls, or talk to my mom." "Does your mom come to visit you?" Lily shook her head, looking at the floor. "My mom is in heaven, but sometimes I hear her when I'm very quiet." In the following days, Lena established small routines that brought color to the silent house. In the mornings, while Lily ate breakfast, she would sit beside her with paper and crayons to draw together. Lily drew houses with many windows and gardens full of flowers. Lena drew birds and butterflies flying around Lily's houses. "Why do you always draw birds?" Lily asked her one Wednesday morning. "Because they can fly wherever they want. They can visit beautiful places when they feel sad." "Are you sad?" Lena stopped coloring for a moment. "Sometimes. But when I'm with you, I forget my sadness." In the afternoons after school, Lena helped Lily with her homework at the dining room table. When they finished, they would go out to the garden to water the plants Eleanor had planted before she got sick. Lily would tell her stories about each flower, repeating the things her mother had taught her. "This rose is called Lady Diana. My mom said she was very elegant, like a princess. She's very pretty." "Which one was your mom's favorite?" Lily ran to a small rose bush growing near the kitchen window. "This one is called the Castilian rose. My mom said it smelled like hugs." That night, as Lena read her a story before bed, Lily snuggled against her shoulder. "Lena, I can tell you a secret?" "Of course. Sometimes I'm scared I'll forget what my mom was like." Lena gently stroked her hair. "Beautiful memories are never completely forgotten. They stay here." She touched her chest over her heart, "and they come out when you need them most." One Friday afternoon, Ethan arrived home early and heard laughter coming from the kitchen. He approached quietly and saw Lily sitting in a high chair, trying to twirl spaghetti onto her fork, while Lena patiently showed her. "No, look, like this. You put the fork against the spoon and twirl it a little at a time." Lily tried again, and when she managed to get a perfect bite into her mouth, she burst out laughing with a joy Ethan hadn't heard in 2 years. He stood there, watching his daughter, who seemed like a different person. Lily was talking, laughing, asking questions. It was as if she had woken from a long, sad dream. For the first time since Lena had arrived, Ethan truly looked at her. She was young, with gentle movements and a soothing voice when she spoke to Lily. She had brought life back to his daughter in a way he hadn't known how to do. But that same night, as Lena washed dishes after dinner, Ethan felt a strange unease. Who was this young woman really? Why had she come from so far away? And why, when she looked at him, was there something akin to fear in her eyes? What do you think is going through Ethan's mind right now? Is his concern justified? Or is it just his own fears taking over? Share your theories in the comments. 3 weeks after Lena's arrival, the house had completely transformed. Lily woke up every morning asking what they would do that day, ran to school with a smile, and came back telling stories about her classmates. During dinners, which they now shared as a trio, the little girl filled the dining room with chatter about teachers, homework, and new games she had learned. Ethan observed from his place at the head of the table, eating in silence, while Lily explained to Lena why dinosaurs went extinct, or how clouds worked. It was as if his daughter had regained the curiosity she had lost when Eleanor died. "Dad, did you know Lena knows how to do French braids?" Lily asked him one night, showing off her new hairstyle. "Tomorrow, she's going to teach me how to do them on my dolls." Ethan nodded, cutting his meat without looking up from his plate. "That's great, sweetie." Lena noticed his coolness, but said nothing. During the day, when he was at the office, she and Lily lived in a warm world, full of laughter and small adventures. But at night, when Ethan returned, the atmosphere became tense. He greeted Lily with a kiss on the forehead, asked about her day, and then retreated to his study until late. "Why doesn't my dad talk much?" Lily asked one afternoon while they were baking cookies in the kitchen. Lena carefully measured the flour before replying. "Sometimes people need time to feel comfortable. Your dad is used to it just being you and him. But you make me happy. Don't you think that should make him happy too?" "Surely, sweetie. Just give him time." But Lena knew something else was happening. Ethan watched her when he thought she wasn't looking. During dinners, his eyes studied her as if trying to decipher a mystery. And when she asked him simple questions about Lily's preferences or household routines, he answered in monosyllables as if he didn't want to give personal information. One Thursday night, Lena couldn't sleep. The memories of her younger brother had returned with more force than ever. She saw him running in the backyard of their house in Oakhaven, shouting her name when he scraped a knee, asking her to read stories before bed. Mateo was 4 years old when the accident happened. 4 years, and a smile that lit up the whole house. She got out of bed and went to the bathroom to wash her face with cold water. But when she returned to her room, tears began to flow uncontrollably. She covered her mouth with her hands to muffle the sound, but the sobs were stronger than her will. She remembered the afternoon of the accident. She was preparing food while Mateo played in the backyard. She had told him not to go near the old well that her grandfather had covered with rotten wooden planks, but 4-year-olds don't always listen. When she heard the scream and ran outside, it was already too late. The neighbors arrived before the ambulance. Her brother-in-law, Robert, began shouting that it was her fault, that she was irresponsible, that she shouldn't be caring for children if she couldn't keep them safe. The lawsuit arrived a week after the funeral. Robert accused Lena of child negligence and demanded that she be stripped of the house Mateo had inherited from his parents. For months, Lena lived with shame and guilt while lawyers debated her future. In the end, the evidence showed that the accident had been just that, a terrible accident that no one could have prevented. But by then, the entire town pointed at her as the sister who had killed the child through carelessness. In her room in the Thorne mansion, Lena cried until she had no more tears. She didn't realize that Ethan had woken up to the sound and was standing on the other side of the wall, listening to every sob, with a mix of curiosity and concern. The next day, while Lena took Lily to school, Ethan entered her room. He didn't know exactly what he was looking for, but something pushed him to learn more about the young woman who had changed his daughter's life so much. The room was impeccably tidy, the bed made with perfect corners, clothes folded in the wardrobe, the few personal items arranged on the dresser with military precision. There was a small photograph of Lena with a little boy who looked a lot like her. They both smiled under a mango tree. In the nightstand drawer, he found what would change everything: an official letter from the district attorney's office in Oakhaven and a folder with legal documents. Ethan read each page with growing alarm. Child negligence, death of a minor, civil lawsuit. The words leaped from the paper like knives. He put everything back in its exact place and left the room, his heart racing. The young woman caring for his daughter, the young woman Lily trusted completely, had been involved in the death of a child. That night, during dinner, Ethan watched Lena with different eyes. How could she sit there, cutting Lily's food, helping her with homework, reading her stories, when she had been accused of causing the death of another child? When Lily went to sleep, Ethan stayed in the dining room, drinking coffee that had gone cold. Lena appeared to clear the table. "Do you need anything else, Mr. Thorne?" He looked at her without answering immediately. He wanted to ask her about Oakhaven, about the child in the photograph, about why she had fled to Los Angeles, but the words wouldn't come out. "No, thank you. You may go." Lena went to her room, unaware that her world was about to change again. On the other side of the wall, Ethan spent the night awake, debating between gratitude for what she had done for Lily and fear of what she might do to her. Because if it had happened once, who guaranteed it wouldn't happen again? At dawn, he had made a decision. He wouldn't confront Lena directly, but he also couldn't continue to trust her as before. He had to protect Lily, no matter how much pain it caused his daughter to lose the person who had made her smile again. The following days became a silent minefield. Ethan began coming home early without warning, always with some excuse about canceled meetings or forgotten documents. He found reasons to interrupt the moments between Lena and Lily. He needed to talk to his daughter about school. He had to check her homework. He wanted to spend time with her before dinner. Lena noticed the change immediately. Where there had once been polite indifference, there was now something akin to surveillance. Ethan watched her when she played with Lily in the garden. He appeared in the kitchen while she prepared snacks. He asked seemingly innocent questions about the day's activities. "What did you play this afternoon? Where exactly were you in the park? Did Lily get hurt at any point?" The questions felt like interrogations. Lena answered patiently, but inside, a familiar anguish grew. It was the same feeling she had experienced in Oakhaven, when neighbors began to whisper and look at her with suspicion. One afternoon, while helping Lily with a puzzle in the living room, Ethan entered with a folder in his hands. "Lena, could you come to my study for a moment? Lily, stay here playing." "Is something wrong, Dad?" the little girl asked, looking up from the puzzle. "No, sweetie, I just need to talk to Lena about grown-up things." Ethan's study was an elegant room with dark wood bookshelves and an imposing desk piled with contracts and building plans. Lena sat in the chair opposite the desk, her hands clasped in her lap. "How can I help you, Mr. Thorne?" He opened the folder and pulled out some papers Lena recognized immediately. They were copies of the legal documents she had kept in her room. Her face paled. "Could you explain this to me?" Lena felt the world reel. She had been so careful, so discreet, but obviously not enough. "You went through my things. I have a right to know who is taking care of my daughter." The words sounded harsh, accusatory. Lena took a deep breath before responding. The case was closed. The accusations were false. But there was a death. A child died under your care. My little brother had an accident. I couldn't prevent it. Ethan studied her face, searching for signs of lies or guilt. "Why didn't you tell me this from the beginning?" "Because I knew you would react exactly as you're reacting now. Because I knew that without knowing the full truth, you would judge me. I have a daughter to protect. I can't take risks." The words fell like stones between them. Lena stood up from the chair, maintaining her dignity, even though she felt like running away. "I understand, Mr. Thorne. If you want me to leave, I'll go." "I didn't say that." "You don't have to." That night, dinner was a silent, tense affair. Lily, who had developed a special sensitivity to adult mood swings, noticed that something was wrong. "Why are you so quiet?" "Everything's fine, sweetie," Lena replied, but her smile didn't reach her eyes. "Lena is mad at you, Dad." Ethan shifted uncomfortably in his chair. "Adults sometimes have serious conversations. It doesn't mean we're mad." But Lily wasn't foolish. In the following days, she observed how her father and Lena barely spoke. Dinners became mechanical, without the laughter and conversations that had filled the house in previous weeks. Ethan hired a private investigator to find out more details about the Oakhaven case. He wasn't satisfied with the official documents. He needed to know exactly what had happened. The report arrived a week later. Robert Hayes, Lena's brother-in-law, had falsified testimonies and bribed 2 witnesses to accuse the young woman of negligence. His motive was clear. He wanted the house Matteo had inherited from his parents. Forensic evidence showed that the planks over the old well had been rotten for years, and that any child could have accidentally fallen. Lena was not only innocent, she had been the victim of a legal scam orchestrated by greed. Ethan closed the investigator's folder and sat in his study late into the night. He had been unfair to Lena, but fear for Lily's safety had clouded his judgment. Now that he knew the truth, how could he apologize without admitting he had violated her privacy? Meanwhile, Lena had made her own decision. She couldn't continue living in a house where she wasn't trusted, where every move was watched with suspicion. Lily deserved stability, not the constant tension that had settled between the adults. One Saturday morning, while Ethan was at the office finishing some overdue projects, Lena packed her few belongings. She left a letter on Lily's pillow, explaining that she had to leave, but that she would always remember her fondly. When Lily found the letter that afternoon, her cries of anguish echoed throughout the house. "Dad, Lena's gone. Lena's gone and she didn't say goodbye." Ethan rushed up to his daughter's room and found her crying inconsolably, clutching the letter to her chest. "Why did she leave, Dad? Did I do something wrong?" "No, sweetie, you didn't do anything wrong." "Then why?" "She promised me we were going to plant new flowers in the garden. She promised me she was going to teach me how to bake bread like her grandma's." Ethan hugged his daughter, feeling his heart break. In his attempt to protect her, he had ended up causing her the same pain he had been trying to avoid. And this time, he was the only one to blame. Lily didn't eat for 2 days. She sat on the marble stairs, waiting to hear Lena's voice call her for breakfast, or ask her how school had been. When Ethan tried to hug her, she pulled away with a sadness that tore him apart. "When is Lena coming back?" she asked every morning. "I don't know, sweetie. Can we call her? I don't have her number. Can we go look for her?" Ethan didn't know what to say. He had called the Helping Hands agency, but Ms. Patricia told him Lena hadn't left any contact information. She had left Los Angeles as silently as she had arrived. At school, Director Eleanor Davies noticed the change immediately. Lily had reverted to her previous state, quiet, withdrawn, with dark circles under her eyes that spoke of sleepless nights. "What happened with the nanny you hired?" she asked Ethan during an emergency meeting. "She no longer works for us. Mr. Thorne, Lily had improved so much. She was participating in class, playing with her classmates. She seemed like a completely different child." "What happened?" Ethan shifted uncomfortably in his chair. How could he explain that he had destroyed his daughter's happiness due to his own fears and insecurities? There were irreconcilable differences. Eleanor looked at him with a severe expression. Differences between adults should not affect the well-being of a 6-year-old child. Lily needs emotional stability, not more losses. That week, Lily's teacher, Ms. Peterson, suggested a special activity to help the girl process her feelings. "Do you know what writers do when they miss someone?" she asked Lily during recess. "They write letters, but I don't know how to write very well yet. I can help you. You tell me what you want to say to Lena, and I'll help you write it." Lily brightened for the first time in days. They sat in the empty classroom with paper and crayons and began the first letter. "Dear Lena, it's Lily. I miss you so much. The garden is sad without you. The flowers we planted have grown a little, but they're not as pretty as when you watered them. My dad says he doesn't know when you're coming back. Did I do something wrong? If I did something wrong, forgive me. I promise to be better. Your loving friend, Lily." Ms. Peterson helped her fold the letter into an envelope they decorated with drawings of flowers and butterflies. Although they would never send it, the act of writing made her feel a little better. "Can we write another one tomorrow?" Lily asked. "As many as you want." Meanwhile, in Oakhaven, Lena had found work at an elderly care home. She cared for Mrs. Davis, an 80-year-old woman who had been a teacher all her life and had a perfect memory for past stories. but would forget what she had eaten for breakfast that morning. "Why are you so sad, my dear?" Mrs. Davis asked one afternoon, while Lena brushed her hair. "I'm not sad, Mrs. Davis. I was a teacher for 40 years. I know how to recognize a broken heart. Was it a boyfriend?" Lena smiled despite her sadness. "It was a little girl, a very special girl I cared for a few weeks in Los Angeles." "And why aren't you caring for her anymore?" "Because her dad didn't trust me." Mrs. Davis stopped rocking in her chair and looked at Lena through the mirror. "Did you do something wrong?" "No, but my past is complicated." "My dear, we all have complicated pasts. What matters is how we treat people in the present." That night, Lena took out the only photograph she had with Lily from her suitcase. They had taken it in the garden, both smiling by the Castilian rose bush. Lily had dirt on her cheeks and a huge smile. Lena remembered how the little girl had run to hug her that day after they had planted tulip bulbs together. "Lena, you make me feel safe," Lily had told her that afternoon, with the absolute trust only children possess. Safe. That word echoed in Lena's mind like a painful echo. She, who had failed to protect her little brother, had managed to make a wounded child feel safe again. And she had lost everything because of the ghosts of Oakhaven that pursued her all the way to Los Angeles. In her tiny apartment near downtown Oakhaven, Lena wrote her own letter, which she would never send either. "Dear Lily, I hope you're doing well and that you're still drawing houses with many windows. I hope the flowers we planted grow beautiful and that when you see them, you remember me. I want you to know that I didn't leave because I didn't love you. I left because sometimes adults make mistakes and don't know how to fix them. Your dad loves you very much, even if he doesn't always know how to show it. Be a good girl, study hard, and never doubt that you are special. With all my love, Lena." She folded the letter and put it away with the photograph. Maybe one day she would have the courage to send it. Or maybe not. But writing it had helped her feel a little less alone in the world, over 300 miles away. Lily fell asleep hugging the third letter she had written for Lena, dreaming of gardens full of butterflies and a sweet voice telling her that everything would be all right. The call came on a Tuesday morning while Ethan was reviewing contracts in his office. It was his personal lawyer, Mr. Rodriguez, with information about the case he had asked him to investigate further. "Mr. Thorne, I have news about the Oakhaven matter. Can you come to my office this afternoon? Is it urgent? I think you'll want to hear this in person." Ethan arrived at the law firm at 3:00 p.m. Mr. Rodriguez, a 60-year-old man with a gray mustache and an impeccable reputation, had several files open on his desk. "I've been investigating the Miller-Hayes case for the past few weeks. What we found is disturbing." Rodriguez showed him photographs, sworn statements, and bank documents that told a different story than the one Ethan had known. Robert Hayes, the brother-in-law who accused Ms. Miller, has a history of real estate fraud. He had been pressuring the family to sell the house the Miller siblings inherited even before the child's death. When the parents died in a car accident 2 years prior, the property was left to Mateo, the younger brother, with Lena as legal guardian. What exactly happened the day of the accident? According to the forensic reports we obtained, the planks covering the old well had been rotten for over 5 years. The accident was predictable and preventable, not due to Ms. Miller's negligence, but due to the negligence of the municipality that never properly closed the abandoned well. Rodriguez handed him another document. "This is the report from the expert witness Robert Hayes bribed to say the planks were in good condition and that the death was due to lack of supervision. The expert confessed a week ago after we confronted him with proof of the payments he received." Ethan felt a knot in his stomach as he read. "We also have statements from 2 witnesses who admitted lying in exchange for money. Robert paid them to say they had seen Lena neglecting the child that afternoon." Why didn't this come to light during the original process? Because the lawyer defending Ms. Miller was incompetent, a public defender who barely reviewed the case. Robert Hayes, on the other hand, hired a firm specializing in civil cases, and had the resources to manipulate the evidence. Ethan closed his eyes, feeling the weight of the injustice. What can we do now? We already did it. We filed a lawsuit for falsification of evidence and perjury against Robert Hayes and his accomplices. The case against Ms. Miller was officially annulled last week. Her name is completely cleared. She knows. We sent her a copy of the resolution to the address she provided. She should have received it 3 days ago. Ethan left the office with a mix of relief and shame that suffocated him. Lena was not only innocent, she had been the victim of a cruel conspiracy orchestrated by her own brother-in-law's greed, and he, instead of trusting her, had judged her and pushed her away. That night, during dinner, Lily played with her food without taking a bite, as she had every night since Lena left. "Dad, can we look for Lena on the internet?" "How do you know about the internet?" "Ms. Peterson says you can find lost people on the internet." Ethan felt his heart break. His 6-year-old daughter was looking for solutions that he, with all his resources, hadn't been able to find. "Lily, there's something I need to tell you." The little girl looked at him with hope. "Did you find Lena?" "I know where she is. She's in Oak Haven, in her hometown." "Can we go visit her?" Ethan took a deep breath. He had been putting off this conversation, but Lily deserved to know the truth. "Lena left because I made a very big mistake. I didn't trust her when I should have." "What kind of mistake?" "I thought she had done something bad in the past, but I was wrong. She never did anything wrong." Lily frowned, trying to understand. "Like when I thought Sophia stole my red crayon, but it actually fell under my desk?" "Exactly like that, sweetie, but much worse. Did you apologize to her yet?" His daughter's simple question hit him like a slap. No, he hadn't apologized. He had been hiding behind his pride and cowardice, hoping time would fix things. Not yet. "My teacher says when you make a mistake, you have to apologize as fast as you can. Are we going to Oak Haven to apologize to Lena?" Ethan looked at his daughter, who observed him with the simple wisdom of children, who haven't yet learned to complicate important things. "Do you want us to go?" "Yes, and I want to take her the letters I've been writing. I have 7. The next day, Ethan canceled all his meetings and booked 2 plane tickets to Oak Haven. He didn't know if Lena would forgive them, but he had to try. For Lily, for himself, and for the woman who had brought joy back into his home and whom he had lost due to his own demons. As he packed the few things they would need for the trip, he found Lily in her room, carefully putting all the letters she had written to Lena into a shoebox, along with drawings of butterflies and flowers. "Do you think she'll forgive me, Dad? I think Lena loves you too much not to forgive you, and I hope she's generous enough to forgive me too." The plane landed in Oak Haven at 2:00 p.m. under an unrelenting sun that made the airport asphalt gleam like a mirror. Lily carried the shoebox with the letters in her hands, clutching it to her chest as if it were the most valuable treasure in the world. "How are we going to find Lena, Dad? Oak Haven is very big." Ethan had spent the previous night making calls. Finally, the private investigator had managed to trace Lena to the Hope Springs care home, where she worked caring for the elderly. "I have the address, sweetie, but first I need you to understand something important. Lena might be very angry with me. It's possible she won't want to talk to us." "Not even me?" "You, certainly. But maybe she won't want to come back home." Lily thought about this during the taxi ride from the airport. Oak Haven's humid heat was very different from Los Angeles's dry climate, and the narrow streets of the historic center contrasted with the wide avenues of her hometown. The Hope Springs Care Home was a colonial building painted pale yellow, with a central courtyard full of tropical plants and rocking chairs, where some elderly residents rested in the shade. A nurse greeted them at the entrance. "Are you looking for a resident?" "We're looking for Lena Miller. We understand she works here." "Oh yes, Lena. She's a very beloved young woman. She's in the backyard garden with Mrs. Davis." "Are you family?" Ethan hesitated. "We're friends from Los Angeles." The nurse guided them down a cool hallway, decorated with black and white photographs of old Oakhaven. At the end, a glass door led to the backyard garden, where several mango trees provided natural shade. Lena was sitting on a bench next to an older woman, reading aloud from a poetry book. She wore a simple blue cotton dress and had her hair pulled back in a braid. She looked peaceful, but thinner than before, as if she had lost weight in recent weeks. Lily saw her first and let out a cry of joy. "Lena!" Lena looked up from the book, and for a moment seemed not to believe what she was seeing. Lily ran towards her, but stopped a few feet away, as if she had suddenly remembered that she might not be welcome. "Can I hug you?" she asked in a small voice. Lena's eyes filled with tears. She stood up from the bench and opened her arms. "Of course you can, sweetie." Lily launched herself at her and hugged her so tightly she almost knocked her over. Lena lifted her off the ground and held her close, feeling all the pain and anger she had accumulated during the weeks of separation melt away. "I missed you so much," Lily murmured against her ear. "I missed you too, my love." When they finally separated, Lily showed her the shoebox. "I wrote you letters, 7 letters, and I also made you drawings. Can you read them?" They sat together on the bench, while Lily took out the letters one by one and read them in a clear voice. Mrs. Davis listened with a smile, drying her eyes with an embroidered handkerchief. Ethan had remained standing near the glass door, watching the reunion, without daring to approach. When Lily finished reading the letters, Lena finally looked at him. "Mr. Thorne?" "Lena." They looked at each other in silence for a few seconds that felt like hours. Then Ethan approached slowly. "I need to talk to you. Alone." Mrs. Davis stood up from the bench with the help of her cane. "Lily, do you want me to show you the goldfish we have in the fountain? They're very pretty." "Can I, Lena?" "Of course, sweetie. I'm going to chat with your dad, and then we'll see each other, okay?" When they were alone, Ethan sat on the bench next to Lena, maintaining a respectful distance. "Did you receive the documents from the lawyer?" "Yes." 3 days ago. I should have believed you from the beginning." Lena looked toward the tops of the mango trees. "You had the right to be suspicious. You have a daughter to protect." "No, I didn't have the right. I was afraid, and fear made me act like a coward. Why did you come all this way?" Ethan took a deep breath. "Because Lily hasn't been the same since you left. Because I haven't been the same either. Because I realized that the person who had brought joy back into my home left because of me. Mr. Thorne." "Ethan, just Ethan." Lena looked at him directly in the eyes for the first time. "What do you expect from me?" "Nothing. I just wanted you to know the truth about the case, to know that we know you're innocent and that," he hesitated, "that if you ever want to come back, the doors of the house are open." "As an employee?" The question surprised him. "I don't know. As the person you are, as someone important to Lily, as someone important to us." Lena remained silent for a long moment, watching Lily playing with Mrs. Davis by the fountain. "I can't go back to living where I'm not trusted. I understand. And I can't go back just because Lily misses me. That wouldn't be fair to either of us. I understand that too. But," Lena paused, "I miss the house. I miss the garden. I miss family dinners. I miss feeling like I'm part of something." Ethan felt a spark of hope. "What would you need to trust again?" Lena looked at him with an expression he couldn't decipher. "Time. Honesty. And for you to understand that I'm not just Lily's nanny. I'm a person with my own life, my own dreams, my own story. Would you come back, little by little?" Before Lena could answer, Lily came running back. "Lena! Mrs. Davis says you know how to make pan de muerto like her mom's. Is that true?" Lena smiled, and for the first time in weeks, the smile reached her eyes. "It's true, sweetie. Can you teach us, Dad and me?" Lena looked at Ethan, who awaited her answer with his heart in his throat. "You know what, Lily? I think I can teach you, but it'll be in my kitchen, on my own time." 3 weeks later, Lena arrived in Los Angeles on the 6:00 a.m. bus with 2 suitcases and a clear decision in her heart. She wasn't returning as the frightened young woman who had fled Oak Haven months ago, nor as the silent employee who had cared for Lily without questioning anything. She returned as Lena Miller, a 22-year-old woman who knew her worth and what she was willing to accept. Ethan was waiting for her at the bus station with Lily, who was jumping with excitement beside him. Lena, do you have your apartment yet? Are you close to the house? Can I come visit you? Lena hugged the little girl and then greeted Ethan with a firm handshake. Thanks for picking me up. Thanks for giving us another chance. The apartment Lena had rented was a 15-minute walk from the Thorne mansion, in a simple 3-story building near the San Juan market. It was small but bright, with a living room, dining room, a bedroom, a full kitchen, and a window overlooking a patio where neighbors hung their laundry. It's perfect, Lily said, exploring every corner. Can I help you decorate? Of course, but first your dad and I need to talk about the new rules. The 3 sat at the small dining table, while Lena took out a notebook where she had written down everything she had to say. Before I start caring for Lily again, we need everything to be very clear. I will no longer live in your house. I will work Monday through Friday from 7:00 a.m. to 6:00 p.m. Weekends are mine. Ethan nodded. That seems fair. I'm going to study psychology at Night University. Classes start next month. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'll need to leave at 5:30 p.m. Get there on time. Are you going to be a psychologist? Lily asked with sparkling eyes. I hope so, sweetie. I want to help children who have gone through difficult times, like me when my mom died, like you and like me when my brother died. Ethan watched Lena with a mix of admiration and nervousness. This version of her was more confident, more determined. She was no longer the young woman who accepted everything without a peep. I also work Saturday mornings at a daycare nearby. I like working with young children, and the extra money helps me pay for my studies. How much do you want to earn? Ethan asked. Lena told him an amount that was double what he had paid her before. That's what certified nannies in Los Angeles charge. I looked up the prices. That sounds good. And one more thing. If you ever distrust me again, I want you to tell me directly. I don't want you to go through my things. I don't want you to watch me secretly. I don't want to feel like every move I make is being judged. The words sounded firm, but not aggressive. Ethan felt a lump in his throat. It won't happen again. If it does, I'm leaving immediately. And this time, I won't come back. I understand. Lily had been listening to the entire conversation intently. Does that mean you're not going to live in the house with us anymore? It means I'm going to have my own home, but I'll be with you every day. And on weekends, if your dad agrees, you can come visit me here. We can cook together, watch movies, do homework. Can we start today? Lena laughed. Today we're going to unpack my things and go to the market to buy food. Tomorrow, we'll start with the new routine. The first month was like learning to dance a new song. Ethan had to get used to Lena arriving every morning with her own keys, to her leaving promptly at 6, to some weekends, Lily being at Lena's apartment instead of at home. But he also had to get used to good things, to finding Lily happy when he got home from work, to the 3 of them having dinner together with conversations that flowed naturally, to Lena making suggestions about Lily's education without fear of him reacting badly. Lily tells me she's afraid of the dark, she commented one afternoon while they were preparing dinner together. Have you thought about buying her a nightlight? I didn't know she was afraid. Children don't always tell their fears to their parents. Sometimes they feel like they'll disappoint them. Ethan watched Lena chop vegetables with precise movements. What do you think? I think a small lamp won't hurt anyone. And maybe you could ask her what other fears she has. Sometimes just talking about them makes them smaller. That night, Ethan sat on Lily's bed before she fell asleep. Lena told me sometimes you're afraid of the dark. Lily blushed. A little bit. but I'm a big girl now, right? Being brave doesn't mean not being afraid. It means doing important things, even if you are afraid. Do you want us to look for a pretty lamp for your room? A butterfly one? A butterfly one. One Sunday afternoon, while Lily played in Lena's apartment patio, Ethan and Lena were alone in the kitchen preparing dinner. "How are your classes going?" he asked her. "Good. Difficult, but I like them. I'm learning a lot about how children's minds work. Will it help you with Lily?" "It will help me with all children, including the child you once were." Ethan looked at her in surprise. "What do you mean?" "That sometimes parents also need to heal their own wounds to be able to better care for their children." It wasn't a criticism. It was a gentle observation, said with the soft voice Lena used when she wanted people to understand something important without feeling attacked. "Maybe you're right. Maybe we're both learning how to do this right. You as a dad, me as—" She hesitated. "As the person who helps care for Lily. Is that what you are? The person who helps care for Lily." Lena looked at him with a smile that didn't reveal all her thoughts. "I'm still figuring out exactly what I am, but I know I'm someone who belongs here, in this strange family we're building together." 6 months later, St. Patrick's Elementary School was filled with nervous parents and excited children for the Family Day presentation. Lily, now 7 years old, had grown 2 inches and lost her first tooth, which she carefully kept in a small box Lena had given her. "Are they here yet? Are they here yet?" Lily asked, peeking through the curtain of the small auditorium stage. Ms. Peterson smiled as she adjusted the microphone. "Relax, Lily. There are 10 minutes until the show starts." But Lily couldn't relax. For weeks she had been practicing the poem she would recite about her family and wanted everything to be perfect. In the audience, Ethan checked his phone for the 3rd time. Lena had said she would arrive directly from the university, where she had had a final exam in developmental psychology. "Do you think she'll make it on time?" he asked Maria, who had insisted on accompanying them to the presentation. "That young woman never misses anything important for little Lily. She'll be here." She was right. 5 minutes before the show began, Lena entered the auditorium almost announcing, her hair disheveled by the wind and an apologetic smile. She wore a green dress that Lily had helped her choose the week before. "Did I make it on time?" she asked, sitting next to Ethan. "Perfect. How was your exam?" "I think it went well. I wrote about the case of a little girl I knew who had lost her mom, and how play and consistent routines helped her process her grief." Ethan smiled. "You used Lily as a case study?" "No names, of course, but yes. She has taught me as much as I have taught her." The show began with the 1st graders singing a song about grandparents. Then came the 2nd graders, with a play about family traditions. When it was the 3rd graders' turn, Lily appeared on stage in a white dress and a nervous smile. "Good afternoon. My name is Lily Thorne, and I'm going to recite a poem about my family." Her voice sounded clear and strong into the microphone. Ethan felt his chest swell with pride. "My family isn't like the ones in books. We don't have a mom who cooks for us, but we have Lena who teaches us to bake cookies that taste like love. My dad works a lot in his office, but now he comes home early for dinner and asks me how my day was and helps me with my homework without sighing. Lena lives in her own home, but she comes every day to take care of me. She teaches me that it's okay to be sad, but that sadness doesn't have to stay. My mom is in heaven with the angels, but she left flowers in our garden, which Lena and I water together, so she never forgets me. My family is different and special. It's made of love and also of time, of patience when something goes wrong, and of hugs that heal from within." The auditorium erupted in applause. Lily bowed slightly and ran towards the stage stairs. When she reached where Ethan and Lena were sitting, she launched herself at Lena first. "Did you like my poem?" "I loved it, sweetie. I'm very proud of you." Then she hugged her dad. Did you see how I didn't forget a single word? We saw, my love. You were perfect. When they left the auditorium, Lily walked between them, holding both their hands. Can we go to a restaurant for dinner to celebrate? Which one do you want to go to? Ethan asked. The one with pizza and music. And then we can go to Lena's apartment to watch a movie. Lena and Ethan looked at each other over Lily's head. Don't you have university homework? He asked. I can do it early tomorrow. Today is a special day. At the restaurant, Lily told them in great detail everything that had happened backstage. How Sophia had forgotten a line of her poem, and how the boy who played the parrot in the play had tripped over his costume. Did you know Ms. Peterson says I have a talent for public speaking? She says I should consider being an actress or a teacher. What do you want to be? Lena asked. I don't know yet. Maybe a psychologist like you, or maybe an architect like my dad, or maybe both. You can be anything you want, my love, Ethan said. You have time to decide. Later, at Lena's apartment, while Lily fell asleep on the sofa during the movie, Ethan and Lena stayed up talking in low voices. It's been a good day, he said. It's been a perfect day. Did you know there's going to be a public speaking contest at school next month? Lily wants to participate. I'm not surprised. That kid isn't afraid of anything when she feels safe. Ethan looked at Lily sleeping with a small smile on his lips. Do you know what she told me yesterday? What? That you are her favorite person in the whole world. Lena felt her eyes well up with tears. She's my favorite person too. And me? Ethan asked with a shy smile. You're my favorite adult person. They both laughed with that soft laugh used by people who know each other well and feel comfortable together. Lena. Yes? Thank you for coming back, for giving us a second chance, for teaching us how to be a family again. Thank you for letting me be a part of this, for trusting me, for understanding that sometimes families don't look like the ones in books, but they can be just as strong. Outside, it began to rain. But inside the small apartment, with Lily sleeping on the sofa, and the two of them talking in low voices, everything felt exactly as it should be. It wasn't perfect. Ethan still had difficult days when he missed Eleanor too much. Lena still had occasional nightmares about her brother. Lily still got sad sometimes when she saw normal families on TV. But they had something better than perfection. They had a second chance to make things right. They had love, patience, and the will to keep building a family that worked for all three of them, day by day. And that, for them, was more than enough. The Unseen Bond, a journey of second chances and unconditional love. This story reminds us that the most beautiful families aren't always the ones that look perfect in photos, but those built with patience, understanding, and the courage to heal together. The relationship between Ethan, Lily, and Lena teaches us that true love sometimes arrives in unexpected forms, and that trusting again after being hurt requires an extraordinary strength we all carry within. If this story touched your heart as it touched ours, don't forget to like this video and share it with someone who needs to remember that there is always hope to start anew. Your support helps us continue telling stories that embrace the soul and remind us how beautiful love can be in all its forms. Subscribe to the channel for more tales celebrating the strength of the human heart. And tell us in the comments, what country are you watching from? We love knowing that our stories travel all over the world, bringing a little hope to every corner.